Hey everybody, this is Wicked Gaming. Coming to you today with a video where hopefully I can answer some of the questions that I get about DarkStar quite often. Um, the first is going to be about kiosk locations and everything else. The mod download page, since day one, mentioned that they're in every city, but most people, some people may not know what they're looking for. So I wanted to point out some of these here, and then I'll show you one of the locations. But what you're looking for is this services terminal right here. Usually when people say, the kiosk, go buy them at the kiosk, this is what they mean. It's this. Um, it has, once you've unlocked all of the codexes, they start showing up for sale here randomly. But they will also have quantum rigs. Okay, a lot of people that ask these questions, they tend to say, hey, I need a codex to build my hab or whatever. No, it's the quantum rig that you need for the habs. It's quantum rig you need for building pretty much anything at your outpost. Now, the reason I did this is because this allows you to still build for credits in a non-cheaty way. You can construct these quantum rigs at a resource crafting bench, or you can buy them from these services kiosks for credits. So you have the choice of doing it for materials, if you have a lot of materials, or doing it for credits by just buying them instead of crafting them. The default crafting location, if you have one of these landing pads placed, all of them have this machine on it. And there's a resource crafting station right here, which you can build your quantum rigs. Now, of course, if you don't have a landing pad build yet, because you have to have a quantum rig to do that, a little bit of a catch-22, you can place just the quantum rig, or just the resource crafting bench with a quantum rig designed for that. So if I go to my build menu and go to the DarkStar tab, for me, it's the last one. And then I go down to the kiosks, or there we are. There's a Trade Authority kiosk, and I flip it over. There's Tranquility, Terra Brew, Chunks, and the DarkStar Services kiosk. If I go to the workbenches, here's this one in the center. I'll do it up here. So the X series aren't buildable by you yet. They will be in patch 1.01 or update 1.01. But the DarkStar resource crafting is right here. And when you flip to the other variant, it's the legendary crafting. So if I place the resource crafting, works like any other bench, and I can craft the quantum harness, the legendary matrix, the change log for my shattered space patch. But you can craft all of the quantum harnesses, quantum rigs, the legendary matrix, basic, and the weapon particle cores. So and the tools for research and everything's right here. This is the resource crafting bench. And as you can see, so if I go to a quantum rig nexus, that's one of the landing pads. It's not a cheap build. It's not exorbitantly expensive, but it's a lot of resources that if you didn't have the quantum rig, that's a lot of weight to carry around, especially if you want to build a lot of them. Well, effectively, this is turning those resources into a weightless, permanent thing that you can just carry around without issue. So let me delete this guy. Okay, so let's go to a location where I can show you one of the DarkStar Services kiosks out in the wild. Okay, so here we are in Paradiso. The Paradiso crafting hub is right back here. You see how I'm oriented here. And back in this area, we have the Paradiso crafting hub. Back here between the two containers, you have a shipbuilding terminal, which is fully functional, has every vanilla ship part in the game unlocked, including all of DarkStar, and a DarkStar Services terminal, and the blue info kiosk. When you are told to go read the blue info kiosk, this is what we mean. It has all of the information about DarkStar right here. Whenever we are giving you answers on Discord or when I have time on YouTube comments or wherever, that information is almost always found in one of these kiosks. But another reason you want to come here is there are quantum rigs here for you to loot sitting on the ground. So if you want to be able to get right into it and place things, there's even empty codexes to craft legendaries with. There are quantum harnesses here to build other things with. There's free loot sitting around for you to retrieve. So there you have it. There's your motivation to come here. But when you're traveling around looking for other services terminals, they're going to look like this. It's similar to, say, the Outpost landing pad, the default vanilla Outpost landing pad with Shipbuilder. It has a gray one of these. This is the only one that is black and copper. Okay, so let's go find another location.
Over here. There's something.
Good old dirty old Aquila City. Now, here's your terminal. It will be in this location for you if you have DarkStar. With the 1.0.1, I add the shipbuilding terminal and the blue kiosk to all of the locations. In the version that is out as of the recording of this video, only this one is here, but it's always been here since the launch. It's right across from Shepard's. I didn't put it in Shepard's because I didn't want to cause any problems with Shepard's. But right across, there was nothing here. Just this box next to the troughs. The troughs that do nothing because nobody rides a horse here. So, but this terminal is right here. It's always been here. It will remain here until I have some problem brought to my attention that requires me to move it, which hopefully will never happen. But here you go. This is where it is in Aquila. Now, I can't show you the rest of the systems because they're just going to confuse you, because a lot of them are moving or changing due to some little things that the update 1.0.1 is going to clean up. In addition, in 1.0.1, each of these has a little slate sitting on top, right on top of this kiosk, that you will have a quest that starts up when you launch 1.0.1 that will send you to each of these locations to pick up that slate. But now you know what you're looking for. You're looking for one of these to be in a location. Now in the 1.0.0, the launch version of DarkStar, the Jemison Mercantile has a one of them, and it has a blue kiosk. They are inside on the left-hand corner as soon as you walk in coming from the spaceport. I put them there assuming that people would turn to walk out and see them glaringly in their face as they're trying to walk out of Jemison Mercantile, but apparently they're not obvious enough. So in patch 1.0.1, they will be moving outside of Jemison Mercantile, right outside the door, so that when you approach Jemison Mercantile, you'll see them. But then, of course, you will miss them on your way out of Jemison Mercantile. It's a no-win situation, but they will be moving to just outside of the building to make them easier to find. In Aquila, you can see where they are. This is their new configuration here. The services kiosk was always here, but I've added the shipbuilding terminal and the info kiosk to Aquila in 1.0.1. The Sidonia location was inside just the one terminal, was inside next to the Trade Authority, or the UC Surplus vendor, sorry, the UC Surplus vendor. That is moving outside of the Sidonia proper over to the front of the service technician's hut outside. So you'll see all three terminals next to the service tech in Sidonia at the landing pad. Similarly, in Neon, there was one on the inside, which is now moved outside next to the services terminals building, or service tech's building. So in both of those locations, it moved out to the service tech. On Gagarin Landing, you had the one there next to the service tech. It's kind of closer to the bench up against the railing to the right of the service deck if you're standing at your ship looking towards the service deck. But now it's all three are there next to that same bench near the service deck. On New Homestead, it was just to the left of the Trade Authority kiosk next to the service technician at the landing pad. And now it's all three are there. On Hopetown, it was over on the right of the up against the building wall if you were on your way to the gun store. Now that is moving a little further around the building to the right. It'll be just to the right of the Free Star building entrance, which is just off the landing pad. And note, there is also a Starborn service tech in Hopetown. When you go through the gates, it's just on the left. You'll see him wandering around or sitting down. There's a wheelchair over there that NPCs can sit on, and because I thought I was being funny, and some toppled over bottles of beer, that kind of thing. But there's a service tech over there if you'd rather talk to a human or a Starborn than a terminal. He's just chilling out over there. And then where else? Sorry, thinking. Processing. That's the high level ones. So that is how you find these terminals. They weren't placed around in hidden locations to try and mess you up. They were placed around in the galaxy in places where I thought people would naturally go, and then they'd see, oh, what is that? But apparently they blend in too well. They're unintentionally camouflaged or tucked into places that people don't go as frequently as I thought. So with 1.0.1, they will be moving to slightly more obvious locations, and you will be given a quest that will guide you to them so that you can find them and know where they're at. So there we have it. That's where they are, and they all sell those quantum rigs in the resource tab. Scroll. Okay. They all sell quantum rigs in the resource tab for you to purchase to be able to place things. And finally, I will show you a bonus, which is in Narian. I said in Narian. Come on. Over here on Vectera at the Argos Extractors. So you probably recognize this. This is the building that you start your playthrough on your very first time. You create your character in there. And then Lynn and Heller walk out of that door and you follow them out. And then, oh look, the Frontier is landing, and you talk to Barrett, and then pirates attack, yada yada yada. What's this right here? Free for you. Yes, this was a secret. But it's right here. Should you ever want to come get a free landing pad, Quantum Rig Nexus, right here next to the building you start the entire game in. Yoink. Okay, so what's next? Okay, back here on my Omen in Russellhag, let's talk about codexes. This also seems to be another point of confusion for some people. So I will go over at a high level what the codexes are. So codexes are resources they found once you've learned how to craft them yourself. They show up for sale at the DarkStar Services terminal. They can be crafted at a legendary crafting bench. There's one pre-attached to the codex machine on every landing pad, or you could place a standalone workbench of your own, but you can craft a codex using a combination of resources to then consume the codex to apply a legendary effect to a thing. You can do this with any codex, any legendary effect that you've learned to apply. Now, if you see on the right, it says, Scout 1 Codex, Quad Mag Codex, etc. Because of the Codex machine, you can go out and acquire a piece of armor or a weapon. Let's say you don't know the instigating enchant. You've never done the research for the instigating enchant. Legendary, right? It's in here, right? You've seen the research and you're like, no, I haven't done it yet, or I don't know if I've done it yet, or whatever, right? So you go and you're looting a point of interest or a ship that you've boarded, and you acquire a weapon with instigating on it. You can come over here, put it in the codex machine, just prompt it and hit transfer weapons and armor. From here, you can put your weapon with instigating into this container. Once it's in the container, you can hit this process button. See how it says start processing? E. So you start processing. It will then churn through and do its all processing stuff. And then the weapon will appear here without the legendary attached. And the legendary codex will appear here. And it will be a codex of instigating. Once you have a codex of instigating, you can come here and do the research, which will consume the codex of instigating and teach you how to craft them. Once you know how to craft them, once you've done the research one time for a given legendary, it will start randomly showing up for sale in these terminals, and you will be able to craft it at the legendary crafting station. Whether you have extracted one and looted it from this box, for example, from a piece of equipment, or crafted one, or purchased one, you can apply that instigating to any weapon you choose. Having the codex is all that's required to apply a legendary, meaning in order to move legendaries from one item to another, you do not have to do the research. The research is only necessary if you wish to craft them from raw resources. Let me say that again. You only have to do the research for a legendary if you want to be able to craft them from scratch. In order to move a legendary from item A to item B, you only need to extract the legendary using a codex machine, loot the codex that it gives you, and consume the codex as your material to apply that legendary to something else. Let me buy a suit of Starborn armor from this, and I will show you. Now, this armor is available based on your New Game Plus trips. This reads your value that the game places on your character that indicates how many times you have been to New Game Plus. This character has done it 50 times, actually more than 50, but 50 is the cap for this armor scaling. But let me buy 2 suits of Starborn armor, and I will go over here and put those suits of armor into the codex machine. Now, just to show you, they're still sitting here, and they will stay there until I click the process button. If I put them in accidentally and I want them back, I can say empty contents and they'll dump into my inventory. But I don't want to do that. I hit process. Processing underway. Processing complete. There are my 6 codexes and my 2 blank suits of armor. So now I can loot these, and I can go to any armor bench and put those onto anything I want. I could pick any of these and say, you know what, I want to switch to one of the ones I just looted. It's that simple. But if I want to craft one of those, from scratch in my next universe or without having to loot them, whoop, I come to the research bench and go down to DarkStar, and that's what all of these are. Required materials, analyzer codex. Required materials, anti-ballistic codex. So I acquire a codex by pulling it off of something with the codex processing machine. I then come here and I can learn anti-ballistic and how to craft it forever. I need special spacesuit design 2, special projects 2, and the codex I'm trying to learn, and that teaches me legendary fabrication anti-ballistic. Once I have legendary fabrication anti-ballistic in my repertoire, I can come over to legendary crafting and I can craft that codex anti-ballistic anytime I want. The cost is 1 legendary matrix, 1 quantum harness, and an empty codex. But remember, in the first part of the video, I mentioned that you can create the legendary matrix and the quantum harness right here. You can also craft empty codexes at the legendary crafting. Codex empty. When I craft a codex empty, it's 1 titanium, 1 polymer, and I get 10. I get 10 of them per combine. So these are cheap. These are the cheap components. Now, the other way to acquire empty codexes, quantum harnesses, and legendary matrices is to clear points of interest, because they have a chance of dropping in boss chests and off of bosses. And there you have it. So there's your resource crafting, legendary crafting, and codex extraction explanation combined with a little bit of research knowledge and where the kiosks are. The next is, we have had some people come to Discord saying, oh, I can't build my ship. Now you'll notice I haven't pressed any of the green buttons. This is a brand new landing pad. These lights will be available and present on any new landing pad built after 1.0.1 is released. Otherwise, it's a little dark up here. But without anything pressed, when I go to build a ship and customize it, I don't have very many parts available. These are the parts that the game forces into all part inventories, no matter where you are building your ship. Doesn't matter which service tech you go to, which landing pad you go to. These are the minimum parts that will always show up everywhere. They are unfiltered parts, but that's all you get. If I want to build with Stroud, I click Stroud, I come in here, and now when I go into my build mode, Stroud parts are available. Stroud Habs, Stroud Structurals, Stroud Landing Gear, Stroud Docker, Stroud Cockpits, right? Now I have my Stroud parts. If I want Stroud plus DarkStar, I hit the DarkStar button. I can turn on cargo if I want the standard base game cargo. Maybe I want the equipment stuff, which is like the Crimson Fleet parts. I can do that. And then when I come in here, I now have the DarkStar parts and the Stroud parts and nothing else. I've kept my inventory isolated to what I want to build with. This gives you the ability to turn things on, turn things off, and say, you know what, I don't want to build with cargo and equipment from other systems anymore. Not really feeling Stroud on this build. I'm going to do a Deimos only, right? And maybe I'll add weapons, shields, whatever. Or maybe I'll use DarkStar shields, weapons, and whatever. And when I come in here, now I've got Deimos instead of Stroud. So these filters let you turn vendors on and off, and this half is for non-vendor specific things. So this would be all of the weapons from across the game, Panoptis and Relodyne and Horizon and all of those, and shields from the different ones, reactors from the different ones, the Xiang Pinch and whatever. Those are not owned specifically by Deimos, Hopetech, Nova, Stroud, and Tayo. They are other companies, and rather than adding all of the company names here that most people would not know, I did them by type. So this side is filtered by type, this side is filtered by vendor. And there you have it. That's how the ship vendors works now, or the ship filters work. Now, you did notice, hopefully, that in 1.0.1, you can buy vehicles right here at your services terminal or at your shipbuilding terminal. So that was added with the new update that is coming very soon, hopefully very soon. It's currently pending approval from Bethesda to get published. And that's pretty much it. There have been a few people that have had issues claiming that DarkStar was causing CTDs. For every single one of those people that have come to Discord to share their load order and have a extensive conversation about what's wrong, every single time it was a conflict from a different mod that they should not have been attempting to run at the same time, or it was a person that uninstalled DarkStar Astrodynamics and DarkStar Manufacturing without correcting their save, without cleaning their save of the items built by those things, and then they wondered why it crashed when they loaded up, or it was just that they put DarkStar in the top or the middle of their load order instead of the bottom as recommended. But it's always something like that. DarkStar itself, I'm going to say it now, cannot cause a crash to desktop on its own. If you are getting a crash to desktop with DarkStar, that means that you have done something wrong, and we are more than happy to help you if you simply come to Discord and ask nicely for assistance. If you come in with anger and attitude, you will probably, I can't control every person on the Discord, there's over 1,700 of them. Someone might give you attitude in return. I apologize in advance, but they're human, just like you're human. So let's treat each other fairly and seek help when you need help, but not in my YouTube comments. I cannot do load order help in YouTube comments. I cannot continue to offer support in YouTube comments. I am stretched way too thin. The reason I ask people to come to Discord is because there are 1,700 people there that use the mod that are more than willing to help you. It does not have to be me. It shouldn't have to be me. There are many, 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 many helpful people on the Discord that know the answer before I can even usually see that you've posted a question. Before I even notice your YouTube comment, you could have already gotten the answer on Discord. That is the reality. By posting comments on YouTube asking for help and waiting for days for me to notice, because sometimes that's how long it takes, you are doing yourself a disservice. You are only hurting you. I ask that you please use Discord, ask the community that is there and ready and waiting to help you. That's what they are there for, to help each other, to enjoy this mod together, and to enjoy Starfield together. They aren't sitting there waiting to ridicule people. They are there ready to help. And 99 times out of 100, whatever question you are going to ask, we already know the answer to. You just have to ask on the Discord where people are there round the clock, ready and willing. Nobody is watching these YouTube comments on the regular for people to ask questions. I do not mind the engagement. Sure, make comments, but don't expect me to look at these comments and answer questions. It's not what I do on my YouTube. I don't sit here refreshing my YouTube Discord, my YouTube dashboard page every 5 seconds looking to see if someone has asked a question. I don't have time to do that. I have a day job. I have all of these mods I'm working on. Just example, yesterday alone, just the one day, I was programming on the next update for this mod for 16 hours. That doesn't give me any time to go and surf YouTube comments or Reddit or Facebook. I can occasionally do those things, and you will occasionally, very rarely, see me answer questions in those places, but that is not where I am doing my support. My support comes from my Discord community to keep me sane and to allow me the time that I need to do development. And to reiterate, there are hundreds of people on Discord ready to help you. There has only been one person ever that was banned from the Discord because they were rude and they were insulting and they attacked the people trying to help them. One person in the history of the Discord has ever been banned, and they deserved it. It was not banned by me. I found out after it happened. I saw the evidence, and I agreed with the action that was taken. So just don't do what that person did, and you won't get banned, and you will be answered respectfully. And if someone doesn't answer you respectfully, I will put them in their place and I will send you an apology. So come to Discord, get the help that you need, join a community. You can use Discord in your browser. You do not have to install the app. You can use Discord on your computer as a desktop app. You can use Discord on your phone or your tablet. You can have Discord running off to your side while you game. There are people that join Discord and they go into our voice channels and they play Starfield and listen to chat and do voice chat with people and kind of get the feeling that they're in a multiplayer game by doing that. There are content creators on the Discord that will announce in our Discord that they are going live on Twitch or YouTube, or that a new video is up on YouTube. There's content to view. There are people on the Discord that publish Starfield magazines, that do Starfield interviews. There are other mod authors on the Discord, verified creators and non-verified creators, that publish mods left and right and are looking for people to help test or to get feedback. There are mod authors working together on combination mods for the future. There are mod authors mentoring each other. It's amazing. Tons of things to do and people to talk to. Yeah, it's grown into a thing that's bigger than I ever thought it would be. The Discord. I figured I'd get 100 members, or that people would join, ask questions, and then leave. But no, it's a beast now. It hasn't even been around for a year, and it's already getting ready to hit 1,700 members. And again, we've only ever had one person be a problem on that Discord. That's it. So if you have any other questions, please come to there. The Discord link is in every single video I publish. It is also on every single mod page for every mod I've ever published on Nexus and Creations. So it's pretty easy to find. Hope to see you there. Hopefully you don't have any problems with any mods, but if you do, whether it's DarkStar or not, we at that Discord are ready to help. So yeah. See you around next time. Peace.